hair looks disgusting, I don't have any makeup on, I'm sorry, you can't really judge me, it's just not having it today. So the reason why I wanted to make this video was because I saw a status on Facebook today that I had kind of been want to make a video about this for a really long time. I just didn't really have a reason to, but now seeing this, I realize I do. And I'd really like to elaborate on it because it's something I can really relate to strongly, and I feel a lot of people that I'm friends with, that I associate with, they don't fully understand where I'm coming from if I decide I want to talk about it. So I just want to kind of elaborate on it for the general public so people can really understand what it is like to be adopted. So that's what our topic is, and I'm going to read the status, but I'm not going to say who it is because it is their status, not mine. By the way, I got a new phone case, and I'm slightly obsessed, young, wild, and free. Need to remember that. That was besides the point, irrelevant. But let me just read this, and it says, feeling heartbroken. Parents are never supposed to give up on their children, but mine gave up on me. I do not care if this is unnecessary to post. I want to know if anyone else can relate because I'm actually losing it right now. All I wanted was a family and parents that love me unconditionally. Why was it so easy for them to give up on me? Let me just, okay, hold on. Hold up, hold the phone. This is so true, okay? Okay, that is how I feel every day of my life. And if you are not adopted, I do not expect you to understand. I don't expect you to know where I'm coming from. But if you are adopted, then chances are we're in the same boat. You feel the same as I do, and we could talk about it. But let me just also make a disclaimer. Without my parents, Doug and Elizabeth, I really don't know where I'd be, and I am so extremely grateful for them every single day, no matter how much of a pain I am to them or how much I drive them crazy. They love me unconditionally, and they are my family. Blood or not, blood doesn't make a family, love does, and I got that from the Fosters on ABC Family, so it's like one of my favorite shows because I can completely relate to everything. But yes, they are my family, they are my parents, and that's never going to change. But your birth family. There's a birth family and adoptive family, just for the people that don't know how adoption really works. The adoptive parents are the people that take the child when they're given up from their birth family, who is the people that have the baby and then give it up for adoption. And there are a million different reasons, and sometimes you know, sometimes you don't know. And then that brings me to the other two types, which is a closed and open adoption. And a closed adoption is when the child does not know anything about the birth family, names, orientation, whatever you want to call it. They have nothing, no record, no idea who they are, what their medical history is, family background. They have no idea. They're clueless. And then there's an open adoption where you have limited contact or full contact with both the adoptive and the family, birth family. So those are those two adoptions. And then there is a national and international adoption. National is within the country, so the United States, it's either from a different state, and then there's international, which is out of country. And my adoption personally, which is something I don't really share often, but it's time to say it, I have a closed international adoption. I am from Pucioasa, Romania, which is in Europe, and I'm Mediterranean, and all that I know is that I am most likely from Gypsy descent. And when I was little, I had a Mongolian birthmark, so we knew it's very common in Gypsy, so we believe that I was a Gypsy or am Gypsy descent. We will never know for sure because I have a closed adoption, which means I have no contact with my birth family. So I will never know my birth mother, will never know my birth father, will never know anything if I have brothers or sisters, which is not really easy to swallow. And yeah, so let me just go back and reference because you'll never understand. And okay, so the part where it says parents are never supposed to give up on their children, but mine gave up on me. Okay, my mother, because it is a closed adoption, we're never gonna know ever why she gave me up. Some believe it was because she couldn't provide for me because my country is so poor. Some, me, kind of sometimes believe that she just didn't want me, which is one of the most horrible, horrible feelings in the entire world. And unless you're adopted, you can, by all means, knock yourself out. Go buy a Adoption 101 for Dummies book and try to understand. But no matter how hard you study on it, review cases, become a social worker, like whatever you try and do to understand it, if you're not adopted, you will never understand this feeling. Never. And I know that's a little harsh to say, but you won't. You'll never get it. You'll never understand what it's like to feel like you've been given up on. And then it says, I don't care if it's unnecessary. I don't care if this video, is unnecessary. I feel like it's necessary. It's important to me that people know how I feel. It's important for people to know how being adopted isn't just a walk in the park, because everyone asks me, oh, you're adopted. They're like, are you adopted? Because you look nothing like your parents. And I say, yeah, I'm adopted. And they're like, oh my God, that's so cool. It's not. I mean, in some ways it's cool, but in some ways it's really not. Sometimes it sucks. It's horrible sometimes. Sometimes you feel so helpless, and you try to stay positive, and you try to be thankful for everything that you have. And I know my mom and I have talked about this a lot, so you have to be positive about it. You have to be thankful that you have the life you do, and I am beyond grateful. I'm beyond blessed. If it weren't for Doug and Elizabeth, my parents, I don't know. I probably wouldn't be going to Tri-County. I probably wouldn't be in cosmetology. I probably wouldn't be working 2 jobs right now. I probably wouldn't have my room or my giant stuffed dog, which I love so, so much. I wouldn't have an iPhone. I wouldn't have so much of what I do. I wouldn't have my best friends. You guys know who you are. I'm not going to name all of you, but you know who you are. I probably, if I were still in Romania, I probably wouldn't even have a house. Probably wouldn't have a bed. I probably wouldn't have a closet full of different dresses and heels and clothing. Because Romania is one of the poorest countries in the world. It really, really is. Look it up on the internet, I dare you. And it's just that people don't understand what it's like to wake up on your birthday, the day you celebrate coming into the world. People don't understand what it's like to wake up and say to yourself, people who created me, my birth family, I don't know who you are, I don't know where you are, but on this day I think of you. And I'm sorry I made you give me up. I'm sorry that I forced you to give up on me as a daughter. I'm sorry if I did something wrong to make you not want me. I'm so thankful you decided to have me anyways. I'm glad you chose to keep me but then give me up later so I could still have a shot at life. But it's just not a walk in the park like that, because some people know who their birth family is. Some people know where they came from. Some people have met their birth family. And I haven't. Think about this. I have no record of a father, of a birth father. Think about that. If you saw your birth certificate and you looked under that father line and there was no name, how would you feel? Would your heart break into 1,000,000 pieces? 'Cause mine did. I cried. Bawled my eyes out. If you looked at your birth certificate and saw a completely different name from your name now, how would you feel? Because you want to know how I felt? I felt like I had another identity, another life that I didn't even know about, and that I probably will never know about. Try and swallow that. Try to think about that and let that sink into your head. And to the people who aren't adopted, you are damn lucky that you don't have to think about this constantly. Because it's not fun to think about. And if you have an open adoption where you know who your family is, your birth family, and you know what's going on in your life, and you know the reasons why, you'd have the information, you better count your blessings. And some people choose to lie about it. I'm not naming names. Some people choose, in the world, I've seen statuses, I've looked up adoption problems on Google relentless times to the point where I can't count on two hands. And they've lied about their adoption. Let me tell you, you are sick. And your mind is twisted. Why would you lie about something so precious? And being adopted, it just makes me realize if I ever have a baby, if I ever get pregnant, there's no way in hell I'm giving that baby up. I'm going to raise it, and I'm not going to be my birth mother. I don't care if I'm living on the street, under a bridge in a box. I'm not giving up on a child. I'm not going to give up on them. And that's just something that every adopted child probably feels. And if you are adopted and you're going through the exact same thing as me, inbox me, text me, call me, I don't care. I will talk to anyone who feels like this because you can't be silent. And if you don't feel comfortable talking to family members about it, like your adopted family, I feel the same way. Because I feel like if I let my feelings out, it'll offend them. And that's something that is also hard to swallow and to digest. Maybe I'm hungry. Maybe that's why I'm saying all this so much. But I feel the same way. And please share this video because there are millions of adopted people out there who feel the exact same way. And we deserve to be heard. Because this isn't something that you can just keep to yourself. It's something you have to constantly work at to be grateful. And it's easy to be grateful, and it's easy to be upset. Trust me, I've been around this circle too many times growing up. Continue, and probably will for the rest of my life. And I may never know my birth mother, but I know her name. And someday, I hope, I have dreams that I meet her when I'm much older, because I don't think I can handle finding out all this stuff now, and I'm okay with that. But someday I would like to know, even though it's probably impossible, because if gypsies like to move around a lot, but I'm still holding out hope for one day. Maybe I might meet the woman who gave me up. And as awful as that would think to meet her, I would have a boatload of questions for her. And I think the most frustrating part about being adopted is that you don't get answers. You really don't get answers if it's a closed adoption. And that is not easy to process. So that is the end of my rant. This is probably part 1. Maybe I'll post another video, part 2. But honestly, I could go on a 2-month-long rant about this kind of stuff because people try to put yourself in their shoes. And honestly, I commend those people for trying to understand. But you never will. All that people in my situation, adoptive situations, need is just someone to listen. So for the people out there who are feeling the same way and are afraid to speak up, you're not alone. And you can come to me. You can talk to me. I will talk to you for hours because you gotta talk about this stuff. So thank you for listening to me rant. And if you watch this whole video, you deserve a medal. But it's time for me to go spend some time with my real family. And I am so thankful for them. You have no idea. But I also would love to know who my other family is. Thanks for watching, guys.